She was the most watched woman on the planet. Every week, over 1 billion people tuned in to see her run across the beach in that iconic red swimsuit. They called her the ultimate California girl. But what they didn't know was that behind those famous curves was a little girl from Canada who had been broken long before the cameras ever found her. This is the story of Pamela Anderson, a woman who was exploited, violated, and humiliated in front of the entire world, but also a woman who refused to be destroyed. Stay with me because what happened to Pamela Anderson will shock you and inspire you. July 1st, 1967, Canada Day. In the small town of Ladysmith on Vancouver Island, a baby girl was born who would become Canada's most famous export. Her father, Barry, was a furnace repairman. Her mother, Carol, was a waitress. Pamela grew up climbing trees, catching bugs, playing in the ocean. The other kids called her Rubber Band because she was so flexible. But behind closed doors, there was darkness. Her father struggled with alcohol, and there was violence. And then when Pamela was just 6 years old, something happened that would haunt her for the rest of her life. A female babysitter began to sexually abuse the little girl. For 4 years, Pamela kept it secret because she was trying to protect her younger brother from the same fate. The trauma didn't stop there. When Pamela was 12 years old, she was raped by a 25-year-old man. She told no one. In high school, her first boyfriend became violent. He kicked her out of a moving car. And then one night, this boyfriend and at least 4 of his friends held her down and gang raped her. By the time Pamela Anderson was 18 years old, she had survived more trauma than most people experience in a lifetime. She weighed less than 100 pounds. She later said, "Needless to say, I had a hard time trusting humans. I just wanted off this earth." But then in a football stadium in Vancouver, fate intervened. 1989. Pamela was 22 years old working as a fitness instructor. She went to a BC Lions football game wearing a tight Labatt's beer t-shirt just to get free tickets. A cameraman spotted her. Her image was projected onto the stadium's giant video screen. 50,000 fans erupted. The next day, Labatt's beer called. They wanted her for a commercial. Within months, she was on a plane to Los Angeles. Hugh Hefner had seen the beer ads. In October 1989, Pamela Anderson appeared on the cover of Playboy magazine for the first time. She would go on to appear on more Playboy covers than any person in history. 14 covers, 1992. Pamela Anderson was cast as C.J. Parker on Baywatch. That image of Pamela running across the beach in that red swimsuit captured the imagination of the entire planet. At its peak, Baywatch was watched by over 1 billion viewers every week in more than 140 countries. Pamela Anderson became the most famous woman in the world. And then she met Tommy Lee. New Year's Eve, 1994, the drummer from Mötley Crüe. He was wild, covered in tattoos, dangerous. After knowing each other for just 96 hours, they got married on a beach in Cancun. Pamela wore a white bikini. Her mother found out from People magazine. On their honeymoon, the couple filmed themselves being intimate on a houseboat. They locked the tape in a safe in their Malibu mansion. It was never meant for anyone else to see. What happened next would shock the world. A disgruntled electrician named Rand Gauthier, who had been fired without pay, broke into their property one night in October 1995. He stole the safe from the garage. Inside that safe was the tape. By 1997, the tape was everywhere. It generated an estimated $77 million in sales. Pamela and Tommy never saw a single penny. She later said, "I made not $1. It was stolen property, and I've not seen it to this day." The scandal destroyed her marriage. The lawyers violated her all over again with invasive, humiliating questions. She was pregnant at the time and terrified the stress would harm her baby. The man who stole the tape was never sent to prison. There were no real laws for this kind of crime in 1995. In 1998, Tommy Lee was arrested for spousal abuse after an incident in front of their 2 sons, Brandon and Dylan. He served 6 months in jail. Pamela filed for divorce. The years that followed were difficult. More marriages that ended in divorce. Pamela became a punchline, the dumb blonde with too many ex-husbands. But through it all, she kept working. VIP, Dancing with the Stars, movies like Borat. She refused to disappear, and she found purpose beyond fame. She became one of the most dedicated animal rights activists in Hollywood. She worked with PETA for decades. She started her own foundation. Then in 2022, Hollywood tried to exploit her one more time. Hulu released a series called Pam and Tommy, dramatizing the stolen tape scandal. Pamela called it crushing. Once again, strangers were profiting from her pain. But this time, Pamela fought back, not with lawyers, with her own words. In January 2023, she released her memoir, Love, Pamela. She wrote every word herself, no ghostwriters. The book became a New York Times bestseller. On the same day, Netflix released Pamela: A Love Story, a documentary produced by her own son, Brandon. For the first time, Pamela Anderson was telling her story her way. And then something happened that nobody expected. Director Gia Coppola, granddaughter of Francis Ford Coppola, offered Pamela the lead role in The Last Showgirl, a film about a veteran Las Vegas dancer facing an uncertain future. Pamela said, "This is the first good script I've ever read. This is the role I've been waiting for my entire career." The film was shot in just 18 days, but Pamela's performance was extraordinary. Critics called it the performance of a lifetime. In December 2024, at 57 years old, Pamela Anderson received her first Golden Globe nomination for Best Actress in a Drama. She was competing against Nicole Kidman and Angelina Jolie. She said it is never too late to dream, to start again, to stay open to possibilities. Pamela Anderson was broken as a child, exploited as a young woman, violated by the whole world. For decades they laughed at her, but she never gave up. She raised 2 sons who adore her. She went home to Vancouver Island and found peace. Today, Pamela Anderson is 58 years old. She bakes sourdough bread. She walks barefoot on the beach. She doesn't wear makeup anymore. And she's finally being seen for who she really is. Her story isn't about how hard you can get hit. It's about how many times you can get hit and still find a way to love yourself. If this story touched you, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, no matter how many times they try to break you, you can always put yourself back together. If you want to see more stories like this, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Drop a comment below. What do you think was the turning point in Pamela Anderson's life? Until next time, stay blessed.